afternoon, everyone. It's Dean here. I thought I'd come out today and do a little review on my Burley Coho XC trailer. I guess it's that time of year where we do these reviews. I'm don't have any trips lined up right now, so I figured it'd be a good time to talk about some of the gear that I've been using the last little while. It's all been put through its paces, but the Burley Coho XC trailer has kind of been a little bit of a piece of forgotten equipment in the last little bit. I got the Burley Coho in 2019 and originally did a trip up to near Bruce Peninsula with it, and I was actually pulling it with a full suspension Trek Fuel EX8, and just wasn't the right bike for it, that's for sure. The suspension bolts started falling apart. Luckily I'm a bike mechanic and I was able to kind of make it work and got the trip done, but it ended up being a 2-week trip with the trailer, and I think it was just over 1,000 kilometers. So that was my first experience with it, and I liked it enough that I thought I was going to use it to take across Canada with me. So when I flew out to Victoria, British Columbia, and I started from I flew out to Vancouver Island, and I started near Port Renfrew on Vancouver Island, and I pulled it all the way to Thunder Bay, actually, guys, and I, at that point, decided that it just wasn't the right piece of equipment for a multi-month tour. I decided that actually a long time before I got to Thunder Bay, but it was just, with COVID and everything, it was really hard for me to figure out a different solution. I wanted to get rid of the trailer and get some racks for the bike, but I was having trouble finding anything. So I got to Thunder Bay, and then that's actually when I had to call off the cross Canada trip for 2020, and went back home here to Windsor. And that's when I kind of retooled and everything and left the trailer behind. But why I left it behind isn't necessarily a knock on the trailer. Anytime you're going to throw a bunch of weight in a trailer and pull it behind a bike, it's going to be super hard when you're climbing. And that was really where I had the issues, was with climbing. But it wasn't because anything to do with quality or anything to do with the trailer. It's just going to be hard when you load up a trailer and pull it up steep hills. It's just, there's no way around that. So my new setup for multi-month touring with climbing is definitely better, but I am going to keep the Burley Coho XC and use it for shorter trips where there's less climbing and stuff like that. So there will be purposes for it, it's just not for everything. So the stats on the Burley Coho XC, guys, are as follows. So the trailer itself weighs 21.5 pounds. The load capacity is 70 pounds. The overall length from attachment to wheel is 66.5 inches. The frame construction is all aluminum. The sidewalls are made out of a very durable material. It's almost like Cordura, I think, but really strong, abrasion resistant, very easy to wash, all that stuff. It's faded. It used to be more black than it is now, but that's just from being in the sun, and that's not a big deal at all. The only thing that I would tell people, if you're not used to pulling a trailer, even if you have your load strapped down really good, it's going to be noisy. There's just a lot going on. The fender itself is made to move like that because you can actually attach panniers to it, and they just don't really want it snapping off, and that's why that movement is there. I don't know that I would ever put the panniers, the little rack and the panniers on the back. I think that it would just be extending the weight further back and make it harder to pull it. That's my opinion anyways. I've never tried it. If anybody has the Burley Coho XC and has used the rack and panniers on the back, I would love to hear from you. What your thoughts are on it. Was it good, or whatnot? My thoughts are I'd rather keep a little less weight in here and maybe put the panniers on the bike rack. That to me has worked out in the past. But like I said, if anybody's got an experience with the rack and panniers on the back, I'd love to hear about it. So the attachment system is probably the easiest and quickest on the market from anything I've ever seen. I've had some experience with the bob trailers, and you have to actually take a skewer out, pull it out, and it takes a little longer. As you see with this, you just pull up on the handle. It's got cables in it that release latches that are hooked to these, what are called Burley balls, and those stay on the bike permanently. They don't get in the way or anything like that, and it's that easy, on and off. Very easy to take on and off, and that probably is one of the best features about it, guys. It also has a kickstand, as you can see, and that is also another great feature when you're touring, that the kickstand's there, you stop, and you don't have to worry about leaning your bike or finding a place to lean your bike or anything. That is a really good feature. It comes with a cargo net, as you can see, and one thing I would recommend, you'll be able to see from this shot here, is that I took a piece of memory foam from a camp roll and cut it to fit in the bottom here, just to help deaden the sound a bit. The bottom on it is just plastic, as you can see, and it really will make a lot of noise if you don't have things strapped down properly, or even if you do. So keep that in mind. I'd recommend it. If you go buy a camp roll, they're about 5-6 feet long, and you'll have enough to do it a couple times, right? It'll get dirty. I just washed this one out recently and it came out fine. So that's just one thing I would definitely recommend to help with the noise factor. So it rides really well. Like I said, climbing is difficult with it, but as far as riding, turning, cornering, and all that stuff, it handles really well. In fact, it's actually quite enjoyable, I find, to get into turns with it and stuff like that once you get used to it. Keep in mind when you are putting a load in it that once the load gets higher than the height of the cargo area, it does get harder to handle. It feels more tippy than it should. So try and keep your load lower than the rails here, and you'll have a much more nimble ride and a much more less jittery ride. When you get it too high, it feels like when you're turning, like it wants to fall over. So keep that in mind, guys. But other than that, like I said, it rides really beautiful. I came out here to Black Oaks. It's a kind of a nature reserve here in Windsor, and we're going to ride it around here. It's another beautiful spot, much like the other video that I did over at the Ojibwe Prairie Nature Reserve. So we're lucky to have these spots. People are working really hard to protect them. So I'm going to take a little ride around here and take the trailer through its paces, get some shots of it, let you see how it handles and all that stuff. Like I said, if you guys have any questions at all, I don't know if I mentioned the price, but the price Canadian is $620. I believe it's about $490 American. A little expensive, but like anything else to do with cycling, I find you get what you pay for. I've seen cheaper trailers out there and they fall apart really quick, guys. When you look at this trailer, all the welds on the aluminum are done really, really well. That's something when you're buying stuff like this to look at, is the welds, especially where the connection points are. These welds inspire nothing but confidence in me. So like I said, if you have any questions, or if you have a trailer that you're using and you'd like to comment about that or let people know about that one, I'd really love it. It's too bad YouTube doesn't allow people to put pictures with their comments, because that would be great. But anyways, guys, I'm going to take it through its paces now, and I'll catch up with you while we're out there doing that. So let's get at it. Trying to see if I can get back to the spot I used to go to, guys, just to do the final thoughts on the Burley Coho XC. Probably could have just ridden through here, but kind of don't want to take chances when you have the trailer. Doesn't look like anybody uses this trail anymore, which is good, because it's always been that way, and that's how I like it. Whoa, whoa. Sorry, just smashed the other camera off a tree. Some real big poplars in here. That's what these ones off to the left are. Massive poplars. You don't want to be here when they're snowing, when that fluff's coming down from them, that's for sure. It's a really nice area in here though. A lot of black oaks in this area as well. Black oaks, poplars, maples, some birches once in a while, but we don't have a ton of birches. Not a ton of conifers neither. Alright, I just had to move that log so we could come in here, and I'm going to do my clothes right here. I've done a video from here before. Okay, I'll get back with you in a second, guys. Alright guys, so I'm just going to wrap things up here with the Burley Coho XC review. Like I said, the only knock on it is that it's hard to climb with, and that's really not a knock on the quality of the trailer or anything to do with the trailer really. Anytime you pull weight directly behind you on a bicycle, it's going to feel like a lot of work, and that's just the way it is. But as you have seen, it handles really well. The shock does work really well. In fact, I didn't really notice how well it was working until I just watched it on the video on the GoPro, and it's actually doing quite a bit of work. So anybody looking for a good single wheel trailer, which to me is the best trailer you can have for touring or bike packing, it's just more agile, easier to control, and follows the bike, which is really important. So the cornering is where it really shines compared to a two-wheel trailer for sure. So if you're looking for a good trailer, like I said, it is around 620 Canadian, 490 US. So it's not super cheap, guys, but you definitely get what you pay for. The true beauty of this trailer is the ease of attachment and detachment. There is no other trailer that does it like the Burley Coho XC. So anyways, guys, if you have any questions about the trailer or comments about the Burley, or you have a trailer you want to talk about, I'd love to hear about it. Like I said, if anybody's using that rear rack for the Burley Coho XC with the small panniers, I'd like to hear what your experiences are with that as well. So like I said, guys, this next year going forward is all going to be about prepping for the Great Divide mountain bike route. So if anybody would like to help support the channel towards that end goal in 2024, there will be links in the description below for both my Patreon and another thing called Buy Me a Coffee. So any contributions to the channel for those reasons would be greatly appreciated, guys. I hope you're all getting out there and doing something you love, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.